is 17 minutes past 12. Thank you for choosing to spend your Friday lunchtime with us. Thanks for the big song medley suggestions that are coming through. Songs, please, with a clever link to ear wiggling and how it makes us listen harder. And while we're speaking of listening harder, news now of a podcast that I know will get you excited. Let me start by saying, though, that the word tractor literally means to pull. It is taken from the Latin. And the first powered farm implements started to appear in the early 19th century. Yeah, as long ago as that. Steam engines on wheels were used to help with the agricultural work. And then the first gas-powered tractors built in Illinois in America by John Charter in 1889. And then fast forward to where we are now, and well, it's not a surprise that there are people who like tractors and people who like to share their love of tractors. And two of them are with us. Tobias Daniels and Heather Bryson from Shepton Mallet have their own podcast called Fun with Tractors.
Hello, and welcome back to
Father and Son Tractors presents Fun with Tractors.
Got it right.
Hey!
You got it right that time.
Second take this.
Second time. This is Heather.
Hello.
I'm Tobias, and this is the supervisor Teddy. And today we're talking about Case IH.
International Harvester.
International Harvester.
Oh, Teddy. And I did have some notes just in case.
Pun.
But Teddy's just stood on my smartphone and I can't find them now.
Now, we must explain who Teddy is. Tobias and Heather are here. Is Teddy with us as well?
Teddy is not, in case we have a bit of a worth interview.
Because Teddy is a dog. Excellent. Now, just from that little clip there, and the name of the podcast, Fun with Tractors, we all went, oh, Fun with Flags, with the Big Bang Theory. You were clearly heavily influenced by that style of presentation.
Hugely influenced, yeah. Big fan of the Big Bang Theory, and we're already on YouTube prior to the podcast, and we sort of put two and two together and thought, hey, Fun with Tractors.
Excellent. Well, let's start at the very beginning. When, Tobias, did you first discover your love of tractors?
Oh, gosh. As a child, growing up in a sort of semi-rural setting, you'd see tractors all the time. And in primary school, every child points out the tractor, you know, the big red machine. I had farm toys, little tractors, a little working dairy on the sports or anything. So I really honed in on my agricultural interest. And I wasn't interested in it, just sort of spiraled, shall we say, from there.
Oh, how brilliant. And we had a bit of a wobble with the line there, so we missed a few keywords, but I think we got the gist of it. So now when you are, I'm trying to kind of age you, as it were. For me, if someone said tractor, I would think of one of those very early tractors that had kind of probably a big red front with a big grill at the front and a big hard seat on the back and a steering wheel. And that was kind of it. Big wheels at the back, little wheels at the front. The tractors of today are clearly, you know, technological breakthrough, whatever. What's your kind of image of a tractor?
Very much similar to you, actually. I mean, I'm 37, so growing up, tractors were literally big red Massey Fergusons with a black grille on the front and a very hard iron seat to sit on. But I've worked with very modern tractors as well that are literally like a spaceship to drive.
And you are right in terms of they're like GPS controlled and all sorts, aren't they? So you don't even need a driver anymore. Heather, your interest in tractors?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the Highlands of Scotland and I also lived in the north of Sweden. So I've seen all these old agricultural machinery when I was growing up. And I remember being placed as a child onto a little tractor seat, onto a farmer's knee, and just thinking it was so exciting. You could pretend to drive. And it's just, and then when I started seeing these little vintage tractors that Toby actually works on with stores, I thought they're so beautiful, these little things, these little sort of little Ted sort of Fergusons and these little, you know, Alice Chalmers and things. And you see them and you think they're really dainty and sort of like really aesthetically pleasing. And it just became like a shared passion, really.
Oh, how lovely. So Tobias, you work with them then?
No, I'm actually the deputy site manager at a school, a local school, but I farm for a friend sort of for free to help him out.
Right.
But the reason I'm restoring tractors is my son Oscar wanted to be an engineer, and I didn't just want a sort of clapped out Vauxhall Nova on my driveway. so we decided to start restoring these little old vintage tractors, and then developed a real passion for those from there.
Oh, how lovely. Nothing wrong with the clapped-out Vauxhall Nova, by the way.
I know. I can see all those people going, "Oi, what's he on about?"
Yeah. Well, what's his problem? And I've got a Ford Escort. But so now, so you've been doing it with your son now.
My apologies.
And are the vintage tractors, and again, the way that technology has moved on and mechanics have moved on, you know, even if you just lift the bonnet of a modern car, you're thinking, right, we need a computer to diagnose what's going on here. And an old tractor, is everything kind of fixable?
Yes, hugely so. Literally these old sort of Ferguson tractors, for example, the TE20 range, they initially weren't made with any electrics other than a battery that went to the distributor for a spark. There were no lights, no signals or anything like that. And they're just made of sort of 4 or 5 chunks of cast iron. And that's it, that's just bolted together. So when things break, you just unbolt a part and bolt a new one on. Even to look at when you lift the bonnet, you're like, wow, this is so straightforward. Seriously, you know, anyone can do it, which is why my son and I started making the restoration videos, because we sort of found that any 14-year-old could actually restore a little vintage tractor. It's really that straightforward.
And I know from having 2 teenage sons that they look for everything is on YouTube. You know, how do you do this? How do you change a light bulb? The first thing you do is go on YouTube. So I thought, well, that makes sense, doing like a sort of educational series of sort of YouTube videos. Talking about all the vintage tractors, literally last weekend was the Somerset Vintage Tractor Show, and I couldn't believe how many people were down there at the Bath and West in Somerset. And you can see all the parts and see how many people, and young people as well, so quite passionate about it. So it's quite on trend in a sense.
And so now for a 14-year-old, though, because, you know, obviously the perception of young people today is they're always on some screen or other, whether it's their phones or on a computer and they're playing games or whatever. To I guess, doing it as a YouTube channel sort of brings what is an I'm going to say an older, perhaps, pastime into the modern world. So how has your 14-year-old got on with it? But A, the mechanics, and B, the sudden stardom via YouTube.
Yeah, fine, actually. So I started filming with my son, Oscar, and then GCSEs hit and he was very distracted. And then my stepson, Harry, who has autism, joined in and started tinkering with engines with me. And they both have taken to it really, really well. In fact, we have people request to come and help us. And they pop along with their parents and they come and fiddle around with the tractor a bit. And all of the children take to it really, really well. I think the combination of viewing sort of even the instruction manuals as a digital format on a little tablet computer while they're in front of a very basic, simple engine really sort of excites them into this outside agricultural world, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, so Toby sort of met my 2 sons. It was a way to get to, you know, to become like the sort of the stepdad, was to sort of do a hobby together. It really worked really well. So both of my children have autism, and one of them hadn't left his room for a really long time. And exactly that. It was about getting them into an actual hands-on physical activity, which was outside and in the fresh air, but still kind of having that technological edge to it.
Linked to the digital world, yeah.
Oh, isn't that lovely? Well, but it's brilliant what you're doing. And like you said, you know, you're getting people kind of offering up themselves and their children to help out. You've also had a bit of celebrity interest recently.
Yes, we have. I mean, it really is a case of if you don't ask, you don't get. And that's literally what we did. I mean, we're a fan of Bendor Grosvenor as it is, and his art detective series on the BBC. And on his profile on social media, you could see that he had a vintage John Deere. And it's the same with all of our sort of celebrity guests. You just send a message and they probably get 1 million messages a day.
Yeah.
But if they like what they've read and they agree, and a lot of people haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's their passion, you know. So some of the chaps off Clarkson's farm, You know, you wouldn't think they'd be, but they get to talk about their passion. We're going to be having a fun with diggers special.
We're going to have a fun with diggers with Alan the Builder. Yeah, so it's great. Yeah,
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. Alan the Builder isn't called Bob. That's the only thing.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
We're so waiting. We'd love to have Jeremy Clarkson on talking about his Lamborghini as well. But that's still in the pipeline.
Yeah, the Lamborghini tractor.
Give it time.
He's the only person I know that owns one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you must be delighted about kind of how it's grown, and also the good that it is clearly doing for your family.
Yeah.
Oh, hugely, yes. It's excuse me. It's really brought us all together, and I must say, in a very calm way. You know, you can't rush things when you're restoring a vehicle, and when the vehicles are so sort of basic in a sense and aesthetically pleasing to look at. It's just a great environment for us all to work together and to talk about things, and it sparks different passions about, you know, this tractor can plough a field on its own, and that gets the kids interested in the GPS technology you mentioned earlier. And so, yes, it's a fantastic family affair, and we've met heaps of other families, particularly at the recent Vintage Tractor Show, and they all restore tractors together as well, just for funsies, you know. I
mean, there's things like the tractor run that happened at Christmas. They happen all over the sort of Somerset, and you've got the Countryside Day coming up soon, and the Mid Somerset Show as well. It's something that the whole family can get involved in. And I think doing it as tongue-in-cheek, especially our podcast, Fun with Tractors, I mean, I don't know everything about tractors, and Toby knows a bit more than me. It's fun to research about it, and people like the fact that we're not pretending to be experts. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, where can we find obviously the original YouTube channel? Is it still there, Father and Son Tractors? I guess all the videos are still there.
Yeah, Father and Son Tractors, yeah, all the videos still there.
And that's where the Fun with Tractors podcasts are also going to be. So they're mostly visual, because I found that podcasts, the young people aren't as into it, so we thought the main place to have it is still on the YouTube. So it's quite a visual experience as well. And this Saturday, so tomorrow, is the Somerset Vintage Tractor Show special coming out tomorrow. So there's tons of people might see themselves on there. We did a bit of a vox pop asking people what their favourite tractor brand was. What's your favourite tractor? Do you have a favourite tractor brand, by the way?
Well, you see, I'm a passing tractor fan. So I've heard of John Deere and I know of Massey Ferguson, but I couldn't go, yes, that's an MF 1274 that dates back to 1783. So.
Exactly. No, same here. I'd probably go John Deere or a New Holland or something like that, and that's as far as it gets. No, classic. You know the classics, that's the main thing.
Well, let's
the same YouTube channel.
Let's end by asking Toby, what is your favourite tractor?
New Holland, because my fiance proposed to me on one.
Oh, you romantic.
So, well, let's hang on. Let's talk about the proposal. So, tractor's not known for going terribly fast. Were you waiting for many hours as a tractor came toward you? What the hell's going on here?
So it was due to the leap year, and women could propose traditionally, and she bought a fantastic model of a New Holland T7 Blue Motion, and just put a little note on it saying "Marry me."
Oh, well, how lovely!
It's romantic.
She didn't buy me an actual £100,000.
Well, also, I'm thinking all of the cars bibbing behind go, well, you get out the way. You'd have to invite them to the wedding, wouldn't you? So.
Yes, at the wedding, I think we will have a little
wait for the wedding day. It'll be a slow affair that one.
Going up the. Does your dress have a train? No, he's got a tractor. Anyway, well, look, thank you so much for coming on. It is an absolute treat to meet you both, and we will find you on YouTube with Fun with Tractors and Father and Son Tractors. Tobias and Heather, and the very quiet Teddy the dog. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.